Ride the signal through the unknown. This is the cryptic current.
In February 1995, the largest airport in the United States, located in Colorado, officially began operation. However, the strange thing is that this massive international airport attracts people's attention, not because of its vast area, heavy passenger traffic, or modern equipment, but because over the years, many mysterious and bizarre rumors have emerged about this place. Moreover, all the rumors are inseparable from a huge underground force, which is believed to be manipulating the world. The airport was completed in 1995, and also in this year, Steve Jackson published a New World Order card deck, also known as the Illuminati cards. These signs all indicate one thing: this airport is not an ordinary airport. So what secrets are hidden here, and what connection does it have with the Freemasons and the Illuminati? Especially during the process of searching for documents, we discovered an utterly astonishing secret. This secret even relates to the true purpose of the space race between the US and the Soviet Union. And even the death of Kennedy cannot be separated from it. And the most important thing is, all these secret plans happening in this world, do they have any connection to each of us? You might think they have nothing to do with you, but perhaps that thought will change. The headquarters of the Freemasons, the entrance to the inner world, the lizard people's base, the main headquarters of aliens, all these names refer to one location. Today, we will talk about the world's most mysterious airport, Denver Airport. Hello everyone, I'm Miss Ruby. Denver, the capital of Colorado, is an extremely beautiful city, because this city is close to the Rocky Mountains. Denver becomes the city with the highest elevation above sea level in the United States. In 2016, Denver was even named the most livable place in the US. However, no one expected that within this city considered a paradise on Earth, many astonishing secrets are hidden. In 1995, the Denver city government built the largest airport in the United States, and the second largest in the world, with a total area of up to 140 square kilometers. Do you know how big 140 square kilometers is? This area is twice the size of Manhattan, equal to 11 Hong Kong airports, or equivalent to over 400 million. And what is most puzzling is, not to mention at that time, even the current total population of Colorado is only over 5 million people. Ranked by population, Colorado is 21st in the US, yet it possesses the country's largest airport. Moreover, when building this airport, Denver already had another airport long ago, which is Stapleton International Airport, located only 6 kilometers from Denver Airport. The traffic volume of this airport had not yet reached its maximum capacity. In other words, the city of Denver basically did not need to build another airport. Initially, when the city government built this airport, the total budget was only $2 billion US, but when it was nearing completion, it was discovered that the total construction cost had risen to $4.8 billion, and the completion time was also delayed by 16 months. First of all, what does $4.8 billion represent? Simply put, the world's most luxurious building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, only cost $1.5 billion. Thus, the $4.8 billion spent on building Denver Airport is equivalent to 3 Burj Khalifa towers. But one notable point is, with such an enormous cost, and an area of 140 square kilometers, Denver International Airport only has 4 passenger terminals. Meanwhile, the second largest airport in the US, Los Angeles International, with an area of only 14 square kilometers, has 9 passenger terminals. Could it be that this $4.8 billion was only spent on building a vast empty land and a simple airport? At that time, someone raised the question, what was that $4.8 billion ultimately spent on? And what happened that caused the hotel to complete construction 16 months late? However, the city government never answered these questions. As time passed, people gradually forgot until February 16, 2007. Early that morning, someone discovered that the windshields of 14 airplanes at Denver Airport were all shattered. This incident required the Aircraft Accident Investigation Unit to be called in for examination. But even these experts were unclear about the specific cause that led to this phenomenon. Everyone knows that airplane windshields are very sturdy to withstand the extreme temperatures and pressures during flight. Even encountering harsh weather below 0 degrees Celsius is not a problem. Yet, such sturdy glass shattered completely in just one night. At that time, some suspected that perhaps a frequency exceeding the human hearing threshold broke the glass. But Denver Airport likely doesn't have such a special frequency. And this incident made people once again recall the long-standing rumors about Denver Airport. If people were to vote for the world's most mysterious airport, Denver Airport would probably top the list. In an era where flight safety awareness is increasingly high, perhaps only Denver Airport in the entire world dares to place a devil symbol representing hell right inside the airport like that. Not just the devil symbol, this airport also features the symbol of the death god Anubis. Anubis is one of the most important gods of ancient Egypt, the protector of souls of the deceased on their journey to the afterlife, and this statue is placed right at the airport entrance. Beside the airport runway, there is also a giant wild horse sculpture called Blue Mustang. This is the earliest public art piece installed at the airport since 1993. Some have named this horse Blue Lucifer, blue combined with Lucifer, the evil demon mentioned in the Bible. Conspiracy theorists believe this sculpture alludes to one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the rider of death. The Book of Revelation once wrote that a fiery red horse would carry a rider, causing people to slaughter each other across the earth. This horse's eyes are fitted with red neon lights, so at night, its eyes emit a terrifying red glow. Additionally, Luis Jimenez, the artist who created this horse, unfortunately had the horse's head fall on his leg in 2006, causing excessive bleeding from the main artery leading to his death. Therefore, some associate that Luis Jimenez might have been cursed by this horse. However, despite the statue's frightening history, it remains placed in Denver Airport. If everyone feels these things are already astonishing enough, then I want to say that all of it is still nothing compared to what will be told next. Someone discovered a stone plaque in a corner of Denver Airport. On this stone plaque, there is the logo of the Freemasons. The plaque states that the real party funding the construction of this airport is not the Denver city government, but the New World Commission. That's right, you heard correctly. According to the plaque's content, this airport, costing $4.8 billion to build, was funded by the Freemasons over 20 years ago. But strangely, after thorough investigation, someone found that this so-called New World Commission basically does not exist. And the date series appearing on the plaque is 19-1994. If you have these digits, 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus, those familiar with the Freemasons will know the number 33 represents the highest-ranking members of the society. This stone plaque also clearly states that the real name of this airport is not Denver Airport, but New World Airport. New World. Previously mentioned in our video about Illuminati cards, many now believe Hitler was a member of the Illuminati. Over the past few centuries, this mysterious organization has been gradually expanding its influence in various fields. To achieve its ultimate goal, building a new world consisting only of elites. And when we elevate our perspective, overlooking the entire Denver airport, we indeed see symbols representing Nazi Germany. And also the strange paintings hanging in the airport. Some believe these paintings reveal the steps in their plan. The first step is to eliminate the chaotic and retain the essence. In the painting, one can see refugees living in basements, a mother holding her child and crying, and continuous waves of repentance surging in. And a man in military uniform, wearing a protective mask, holding a shovel in his right hand, examining a dead dog at peak. His left hand holds an AK-47, ready to pull the trigger. Many believe this is the devil carrying out a plan. The second step is to arrange these chosen people onto a boat. We can see the background of the painting features dazzling sunlight and terrible destruction. Besides plants, species like dolphins, sea turtles, leopards, and penguins have all died. Additionally, there are 3 children crying beside an open coffin. Inside the coffin are 2 women and a little girl, in that order. Actually, upon closer inspection, one can see the black woman on the left holding a rattle, representing Africa. Below her body is a zebra pattern, and the woman in the middle is wrapped in an animal skin, representing Native Americans. The little girl on the right is wrapped in the flag of Israel. It is rumored that the Freemasons dislike black people, Native Americans, and Jews the most. The world above is under attack, but there is a group of children holding transparent containers. Inside are various animals. These chosen people and animals will eventually safely arrive at a place called the New World. Many suddenly realize and think that it turns out the Illuminati's plan is to simulate a great flood. Only thousands of years later, today, the boat of that time has been replaced by an underground shelter. The key point is that these inferences have been confirmed by witnesses. In 2010, a retired construction worker named Steve Weber came forward to be interviewed by a journalist. The interviewer was BuzzFeed, a very famous American media company. He told the reporter that in the 1990s, he participated in the construction of Denver Airport. But the difference is, Mr. Tavone was not involved in building the airport structures above, as we see, but rather in constructing the tunnels beneath the airport. He said that at the time, he and other workers were told that these tunnels were for sewage discharge. However, if these tunnels were really for sewage discharge, then this must be the world's largest sewage pipeline. Because the width of these sewage pipes is up to 12 meters, and the height reaches 16 meters. You should know that the width of a typical lane we drive on is about 3.25 to 3.5 meters. That is to say, the width of this underground drainage system exceeds that of 3 lanes, and the height is more than 5 stories. The important thing is that the area around the airport is mostly empty land, uninhabited. So why is such a large sewage pipeline needed? It would be more convincing to call it an underground bunker rather than a drainage tunnel. Not only the drainage system, Steve Weber also said that originally, there were 5 more buildings northeast of the main terminal. Just as these 5 buildings were completed, the construction site dispatched many excavators to bury them. At the same time, it casually told everyone that the reason for burying them was that they were built incorrectly. Now, these 5 buildings are buried 18 meters underground, and no one knows what they actually were. Finally, Steve Weber also told the journalist that back then, this underground project was enormous. The contractor under his management was only responsible for one of the tunnels, and there were many other contractors responsible for different tunnels and other projects. Moreover, it was strictly forbidden from communicating with people in other areas. Steve Weber's words explained many long-standing doubts people had, and also coincidentally explained why the area of his airport is so large, and why the project back then took over 16 months longer than planned to complete. Because in reality, it is a huge underground hiding place. And this hiding place could serve as a refuge for members of the Freemasons and Illuminati in times of crisis. On September 27, 2011, U.S. President Barack Obama unexpectedly appeared at Denver Airport without prior notice, and even stayed at the airport for a full day. Since this trip did not include any scheduled presidential interviews, no one knew the real reason for Obama's sudden visit was. But some discovered that this period also coincided with the time when the Illuminati's doomsday star was closest to Earth. Many couldn't help but exclaim, could it be that the president went down to the underground bunker during this trip? Because President Obama never spoke up to explain this incident, coupled with Steve Weber's statements. More and more people believe that what lies beneath Denver Airport is definitely not simple. However, the mystery in Colorado doesn't stop at Denver Airport. Under Cheyenne Mountain, 143 kilometers from Denver Airport, there's the world's most modern and largest monitoring center. Though deep inside Cheyenne Mountain, this center can easily monitor over 8,000 satellites in the sky, as well as nuclear weapon systems across the Earth. That is NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD is known as the world's most strictly defended military base. In comparison, the secret areas we often mention are nothing. Based on published documents, we can know that this command is located 600 meters deep under Cheyenne Mountain. Inside this huge cave, there are 15 high-rise buildings with internal tunnels as wide and high as 15 meters. Thus, the tunnel under Denver Airport is no longer too hard to believe, right? Because Cheyenne Mountain is formed from hard granite in emergency situations. This command can even withstand a nuclear attack. It not only has a solid outer shell but also stores a lot of food, has an endless water supply and other power generation equipment. Even if doomsday occurs, this base can be self-sufficient. For many years, many have suspected that such an important military unit is located too close to the mysterious Denver airport. Are these two places connected? Currently, everyone agrees that the reason for establishing the North American Aerospace Defense Command was due to the space race between the US and the Soviet Union. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite into space. The United States was extremely astonished at that time. Therefore, the following year, the US quickly established the North American Aerospace Defense Command to monitor the Soviet Union. That's explanation. Now let First, go back to 1899, when Tesla discovered strange unidentified radio signals. Afterward, top scientists worldwide also successfully discovered unidentified flying objects in Earth's sky. Black Knight. Black Knight. Orbiting Earth in a polar orbit, which UFO researchers believe has existed for about 13,000 years, and is of extraterrestrial origin. No one knows if the Black Knight belongs to or who launched it. According to US space scientists, the Black Knight transmitted radio signals continuously for 50 years before ceasing operation. It is believed to have been constructed a very long time ago. Scientists from many countries are interested in the Black Knight. There are rumors that Nikola Tesla was the first to receive the repeating signal in 1899, which he believed was from space. Using high-voltage radio equipment built in Colorado Springs. After 1940, the world continuously had reports of UFO sightings, even UFO crashes, the most famous being the 1947 Roswell incident. Soon after UFO sightings occurred frequently, in 1955, the space race between the US and the Soviet Union officially began. This inevitably makes people suspect whether these two countries were competing for world superpower status, or if something else was being concealed. We all know that the space race achieved two important milestones. One was launching artificial satellites, two was landing on the moon, and these are also the two places where the Black Knight appears most often. Soon after landing on the moon, the US announced it would terminate moon missions due to budget constraints. Even Americans found this reason hard to believe. Returning to the story, in 1955, the space race officially began, and that same year, under President Eisenhower's directive, Area 51 was also established. 3 years later, in 1958, also under President Eisenhower's direction, the North American Aerospace Defense Command was established. That same year, Eisenhower also established NASA. I wonder if everyone realizes, all of the above points to one thing. That is, this series of actions were all approved by US President Eisenhower. So, does everyone know who succeeded Eisenhower as president? That would be Kennedy. In 1963, US President Kennedy was unfortunately assassinated. Notably, 10 days before his assassination, in a speech at Columbia University, Kennedy mentioned that he had deceived the American people and was preparing to reveal the whole truth. Unfortunately, President Kennedy was assassinated before he could disclose the truth. In 2017, Donald Trump, who had promised to reveal the truth about Kennedy's assassination, ultimately did not disclose all the information, although the truth has been repeatedly delayed from being revealed. I think many of you watching up to this point have somewhat understood the issue. In reality, many things are like this. When you get too deeply immersed in a problem, only examining individual details, you won't realize the true purpose behind it. But when you step back and look at all the events that have occurred as a whole, the nature of many things will gradually become clear. When we thought that Area 51 was the secret base between aliens and the US government, we didn't know they had moved to more secret locations elsewhere. No one dares to confirm whether Denver Airport is one of them or not. But it can be said that, to some extent, Denver Airport definitely hides even more shocking secrets. At Denver Airport, there is a stone slab with an inscription. And beneath the slab is an object resembling a time capsule. This time capsule is required to wait until 2094 to be opened. Could it be that the truth we seek lies within that time capsule? And what makes people most curious is why it must wait until 2094 to be opened. I wonder what everyone thinks about this. Please share your opinions in the comments section below the video. Our sharing for today will pause here. If you found this video useful, don't forget to share it with your friends. Stay tuned for the next. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you next time.
If the signal hooked you, subscribe and catch the next ripple.